Okay, so you heard about it just now. That event, those events, actually, I should say, three in total, two
Mhm.
evening events, one morning event. Christy is going to be joining us right now. Ta-da!
Hello, Christy.
Good morning, Christy.
Good morning.
So good to have you joining us live on radio, live on YouTube and Facebook. Christy Herselman, going to be chatting about well-connected events. But before we get to that, because that's just a small part of it, we want to talk about this, and this is very important. In a world of hashtags, social media, and just about a million ways for people to be connected, what is the one thing and one of the most important things that a parent needs to teach their child?
You might be surprised by this, but it's actually got nothing to do with the actual devices themselves. I have found with my own teenagers and the teenagers that I speak to, we need to teach them connection, identity, and values. Honestly, that's basically it. I see the children who are grown up in homes where they taught values like respect, integrity, accountability, kindness, those kinds of things. Those things translate into the digital space. Obviously, there's so many practical things we can talk to our kids about in terms of their digital health and their online safety and being savvy online user. But when we do things like prioritizing the person in front of us and honoring the person that we're speaking to online and being kind to someone else and being brave, those things I find we teach those to our kids, and we teach them that actual human beings who are with you in the room, they are the ones that you need to prioritize over the ones that are online. Those are things that really go a long way to help our children navigate the digital space in a healthy way. And it's becoming more and more important because this generation is becoming more and more untethered. Interestingly, I was speaking at a conference of headmasters a little while ago, and he was saying that as more and more families have stopped going to church, stopped going to synagogue, stopped going to places of worship, and have pulled themselves out of communities of faith, it's becoming more and more the school's problem to teach children about values. But actually, as parents, it is our job to teach our children who they are, that they are of great worth, and that actually every single human being is of great worth. Because when you know stuff like that, then when someone sends you an photo, that person is of great worth, and it is not okay for me to be looking at them in an objectifying way. So for me, Jonathan, it comes down to values.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. And then also something, Christy, that has been a massive hype and a buzz that we've all been seeing it. It was, of course, driven by two online influencers that generated loads and loads of course, followers and also money as well. But we live in SA, so how can parents help shape South Africans' narrative for our youth?
You know what? This is interesting. Teenage boys, they are twins and they are 13, so they were the prime market for this recent online complete hype that we were part of. And it was so interesting, because it completely swept up specifically these young teenage boys. And it was just the most brilliant marketing. And I said to my sons, this is going to be in EMS textbooks at some point in the future, because the way they did it was brilliant. But you know what? The reality is these things provide great opportunities.
Oh, sorry, keep
Have you
going.
lost me?
Yeah, we lost you there for a second. You were saying a great opportunity for?
No, I was just saying that things like this are great opportunities in South Africa to teach our children about marketing, about hype, and about excess. This was all about excess. It was all about paying a ridiculous amount of money for a product that was just not worth it. And as you said, in a South African context, there are so many better things we should be spending our money on. And there are things that we as parents can do to say, okay, well, look at this money that you could spend on this, but what about if we spent it on something else? What about if we gave it away? What about if we sewed that into a children's to a project that needs is going to bear some fruit than something that actually tastes quite bad and is not worth the money. But at the same time, I think it's also important to validate our children in this, because you know what, the reality is they really wanted this product, and we as adults, we are not immune from that either. You know, my sons said this to me. They're like, Mom, but if this amazing new sushi restaurant opened around the corner and your friend said to you, you've got to go to this place, yes, it's expensive, but you have to try it, and there was all of this hype, we can also get caught up into this. So what I found is it was just such great conversation around delayed gratification, excellent marketing, things, priorities, and then also just reframing it, not this thing of, you young people, you get sucked into these stupid things, it's such a waste of time, but rather really helpful conversations about how we as adults can sometimes, you know, go into debt for the wrong car just because we want our friends to see us driving that car. How we can talk about budgeting, how we can talk about saving, how we can talk about how the online space is something that is causing us to really make some very bad decisions specifically around our finances.
Sure. That is such good advice. Love it to bits. If you've just joined the conversation, we're chatting to Christy Herselman. She is going to be in Cape Town, ladies and gentlemen, on the 29th and the 30th of this month. That's a Monday evening. Then there'll be a Tuesday morning event and a Tuesday evening event. We'll tell you more about those events. But now, Christy, just in terms of new research, any new research that's come out that you think parents, adults need to be aware of, because the world has changed. We can't deny that. So
Yeah.
what are we seeing? What do we know about?
Well, there's probably two things that I think parents need to be aware of. The number one, the amount of sex and porn online. This is something that I find parents completely oblivious about. And we've actually got a whole session on that, because this is such a big deal. The research is coming out of the first generation that we call, they grew up with porn in their pocket, i.e. porn on an iPhone. And that includes nudes that are being sent between teenagers. And we are seeing the long-term effects of that on this generation. So that's the one thing. And then the other thing I think parents really to remember is, this is not a child problem or a teenage problem. This is a cultural problem. And some research that came out recently that really shocked me was to talk later than ever before. So the age that a child says their first words. And when I read further and I saw the reasons, it wasn't actually because the child was on the phone. It was because the mother is on the phone. So before phones, moms would constantly be talking to their babies, just babbling and chatting and talking. And so these children were hearing language all. But actually now, a lot of moms, when they're walking their babies in their prams, when they're playing with them in the parks, they are on their phones instead of connecting with their children. So I think maybe one of the most important things I would love parents to take away from this is, have a look at your own social media. Have a look at your own digital addiction. Have a look at, what are you disconnecting from your children because you're on the couch watching TikTok rather than connecting with them at the. We as parents, social media use, our addictions, and then model good behavior for our children.
Sure. The internet isn't playing fair with us this morning, sadly. But we're catching the majority of what you're saying, Christy. Thank you for that. Again, just what you were saying there, that thing of us as parents need to model it. We need to decide to put the phone down and rather engage our children, because it's so easy. It's so easy to sit and just scroll on your phone. So, yeah. There's so much that we can chat about.
That is so important.
It's so important. Wow, really. There's so much more that we can talk about, and we are going to be having some more conversations as we lead up to those events. But now's the time for us to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to get your tickets. Tickets are going at only 50 Rand per person. It is really, really well priced, and you're going to get such a good shot of in person. Christy's going to be here. She's not going to be on a screen. She's going to be,
I'm going to be
here.
there.
Exactly.
Live. We don't have to rely on the internet.
There we go. Thank the Lord. And so a great opportunity to get and help you as a parent to allow your children to be social beings on the internet that are respectful, that understand things. And we're actually encouraging you to bring your teenager with. Hey? That's what it's about. Okay, we've got a real internet issue this morning. Sorry about that. But Christy, thanks for chatting to us. The details are as follows. You need to go to the safamily.co.za website, and there you will find the hashtag WellConnected event. That's the evening events, Monday evening and Tuesday evening. And then on Tuesday morning in the northern suburbs, we've got the whole discussion about online sex and relationships, also with Christy Herselman. Please, ladies and gentlemen, don't delay. Get your tickets. And you know what? If you want, we can send you the link so that you can book your tickets. Book for your teenager, book for yourself. Make sure that you get there to as many of the events as possible. One event Monday evening in the southern suburbs, another event Tuesday evening in the northern suburbs. Christy, it's been great chatting to you. Thank you for your time this morning.
Such a pleasure. I'll see you in Cape Town soon.
Yes,
Awesome.
looking forward to it. Take care. Have a good day.